Oh, of course. And I think that you know all the commissioners. If not, take a minute to introduce yourself and whoever you don't know, but I think we all know each other.
Morning.
Good morning.
Neil, we are starting you off as we have everyone else, and tell us why you want to be a circuit judge.
Most of you know me. I'm Neil Coffman. I'm one of 2 circuit court hearing officers for the 7th Circuit. My job responsibilities include mostly hearing child support cases. I start off hearing, make conclusions of law, findings of fact, make a recommendation to a circuit judge for an order. 99.9% of the time, those are signed, no one files a motion to vacate, and they become court orders. While I am not a judge, as of course you all already know, I have been doing judicial work for about 7 years. I sit on a bench in a courtroom, and pro se litigants, mostly pro se litigants, and some attorneys do come in front of me, make their arguments, and I render a recommended order to the judge. In addition to my judicial work, I also volunteer in the community. I am president of my condominium association, which admittedly is somewhat self-serving because I make sure I have a nice building to live in. But I also do volunteer as a teen court judge, which I think is, of my volunteer work, probably the most rewarding thing that I do. Basically, it gives good kids who made a bad mistake a second chance without ruining their lives with a criminal record. And every time I do that, I feel pretty good about it. As far as why I think I would be a good circuit judge, I think I bring something to the table that certainly some of your other applicants do too, because you're interviewing other judges, or judges, I'm not a judge, but judges who sit on a bench every day. I saw that Melissa Moore was on your list, and she's excellent. Saw a couple other judicial people on your list. But anyway, I believe that the importance of the judiciary can't be overstated. It's where people come to get a resolution to their cases, and you take one case at a time. Every case is the most important case in the world to the people in front of you right now. Even if you've got 20 people, 30 people, sometimes 40 people in front of you that day. You take the facts that are provided, you apply the Florida statutes as written, what they actually say, not what you sometimes wish they did. You always apply the law as written. And you make what you believe is a fair recommendation for an order in compliance with the law. I try and do that for everybody who comes in my courtroom, and I have been doing it for the last 7 years. And I feel that I am ready to take the next step to become an actual circuit judge, if all of you see fit to make that recommendation to the governor along with 5 other fortunate people.
Let me follow up on that point, Neil. You started to go there, but I'm going to ask you to go even further. I see a nice, humble, quiet gentleman, and we do appreciate and respect that. But I want to hear from you why you think you are a better candidate than the others on the list.
Honestly, my experience. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been coming into this courthouse and the DeLand courthouse every day, 3 days a week. I climb up on a bench and I sit in front of sometimes 50 people. I hear sometimes 20 to 40 cases a day. I make recommendations for an order on each of those cases, and I believe if you ask any of the judges that I go in front, that I make recommendations to and present my recommendations in front of, that I think they'll speak highly of me. I truly do. And if they won't, then they haven't told me that, because they've told me the opposite.
Mr. Kaufman, with all due respect, I understand that you acted in the role of the child support hearing officer.
Yes, ma'am.
But with respect to the position of circuit court judge, there's a whole wide, diverse area of laws that you're going to be charged with making sure that you can make the appropriate rulings. How would you prepare yourself to be able to take that position?
It's a good question. For the last 7 years, I've had the opportunity to attend 6 judicial colleges, which are presented by the Supreme Court of the state of Florida. I have been a state employee prior to being a hearing officer, but in my estimation, they are the finest trainings I've ever experienced in any kind of employment, government, or otherwise. I've taken many courses involving evidence, criminal law, other things, and I believe that I am ready. Also, I have experience in family law, not just as the child support enforcement hearing officer, but I have prior family law experience. I also have dependency experience. I was a senior attorney for the Department of Children and Families for a couple of years, 4 years. And I tried termination of parental rights cases in front of a circuit judge. While it's not the same thing as a criminal division, it is loosely based on the criminal process in the state of Florida. The dependency process and the criminal process are similar in many regards and different in some. I'm also a quick learner, and I rise to any occasion that I'm presented with. I have no doubts that wherever the chief would assign me, if I were appointed by the governor, that I can do the job.
I think it's a similar question, but slightly different. How would you go about preparing yourself to preside over jury trials?
That is a good question. I have, again, attended many trainings, which I understand isn't the same thing, but I've attended many trainings at the Judicial College, some of which spoke to that. I also believe that I could adapt to that situation, and I believe that I'm ready for it, and the only way to find out is to get there. But I am, what's that number I use, 99.99% sure that I can do that, and I'm really 100% sure I can do that. Nothing I have ever tried to do in my legal career, I failed at. I've never failed at trying to do anything that I've tried to do. Not to say that I've never lost a case, I have, but as far as simply not being able to do the job, I've never encountered that.
And I have another question. I could get it piggybacks a little bit on what Mr. Green was asking earlier. I had the pleasure of vetting you, and I hear things like you're handling a staggering volume of matters in front of you, that you handle them quickly and efficiently. You do a good job. Your writing and your research, the judges are very happy with it. The one question I have is, you're such a calm, polite person. What do you do in a room with how would you control your courtroom? What's your method for taking charge and owning, being the person who's in control of out of control defendants or family law?
You start with respect. You treat everyone who comes in your courtroom, regardless of what they're alleged to have done, or whether they're paying their child support or not, or whether they're accused of having murdered someone, with respect. Now, sometimes if things get out of hand, you need to take control of the courtroom, and I do that. I've had people who I've had taken into custody in my courtroom go berserk on me, and when I'm having them taken into custody, and you deal with it. You order them to sit down, the bailiff will arrest them, and it's about the presence you present in the courtroom. And I think that also is part of your question. Do I have that presence in the courtroom that a circuit judge needs? And I believe that I do. I am always in control of my courtroom, and you can ask any of the attorneys who come in front of me. And I suspect you may already have, but anyone who comes in front of me or has been in front of me will tell you that I do maintain a tight courtroom and am in full control of it.
Who else? Neil, thank you for coming in, and we will be completing our interview process today, and one of us will be reaching out to you personally to call you and let you know. What's the best number to reach you at to do that?
386-334-2765.
Which number is that?
That's my cell phone.
Okay, great.
I want to take the second to thank you all for the opportunity for interview, and I hope that you recommend me to the governor, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.